I want to be straight with you. If you are stuck under the 5 to 10 clients per month ceiling as an agency or an online service provider, it is most probably because of these two things. Number one, you are not absolutely crystal clear on what are the next steps required to get more clients. Or number two, you simply do not have the resources to actually action said steps. I honestly wish it were more complex, but if there's one thing working with over 100 businesses has taught me, is that we need to use Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually the right one. There's a reason Alex Hormozi touts online service businesses as the easiest vehicle to actually make your first million with. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, it's gonna take a lot of work, and no, it is not gonna happen overnight. But breaking past that 10 client per month ceiling, it's all about getting the basics right and doing more of it. So in this video, I'll be showing the exact process I use to build high-ticket client acquisition systems for my agency clients, so you have a roadmap and you know exactly what to do next. Hi, my name is Werner, and in the past decade, I've been certified as a CPA. I've consulted for multiple 8-figure corporations, and I've built 2 6-figure businesses of my own, and yes, that's profit. And most importantly to you, I've made every mistake possible in business. So the process you're about to see is purely based on trial and error. We saw it work, what didn't, and we refined it until we have the perfect product that we have today. Now, what is the biggest killer of business? Complexity. People love to add new processes, new shiny features, automate, especially with AI. But at the end of the day, the simpler we can keep it, the less variables there are, the less things we have to measure. So the simpler, the better. And to be honest, if we want to keep it simple, anything up to 10 clients per month, you only need Instagram. So anything up to 30 to 50 grand per month, you only need Instagram. Yes, you can add in a multitude of other automations, AI, but all you need is Instagram, period. Okay, now we need to understand that we are in the authority business. Now, what do I mean by that? Essentially, if you build a lawn maintenance company or a snow removal company, you are the best in your area. So you have a very localized market that you have to compete with. But as online service providers or an agency, you are competing with the world. Now, the only thing that differentiates you from your competitor is your authority. How sure are people that you are actually going to get them a solution? Now, let's create a quick example. Let's say I have a product. I'm going to make my face small here in the corner. Let's say I have a product of 10K. I'm going to sell you a 10K product. But I promise you, you're going to get 40K back in 1 month. Now, that's a 4x ROI in 1 month. So 100% you're going to buy it, right? Well, no. Why not? I'm promising you 40K for 10K because you're not certain that I can provide it. There's a certainty issue. Essentially, I don't have enough authority. So that essentially means certainty equals authority. The more authority we can build, the more certain they will be, and the more likely they will actually buy our offer. And that is how the authority stack system came to be. Now, I know it's a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of detail, but we're going to go through it step by step. So don't you worry. Now, the whole idea is just to give you a broad picture of what we're going to do is we have content that we're going to drive to our clients, and we essentially need to build that trust. We need to warm the person up. After that, we're going to transfer them to our IG profile, which is going to be curated to our ICP, ideal client profile, to make sure we get the right people. That's going to be sent to a specialized DM agent, which is going to either decide this person is great for a call, we need to push them to a trust ladder, or maybe we need to send them back to give them a bit more free content so we can warm them up more so they can come back into our process later. So that's all going to be determined by our AI DM agent. And we'll get into that a bit later on. Now, to create content, we're going to use AI-driven content system. Now, that sounds fancy, but what does that mean? Essentially, we're going to take Perplexity, which is going to scrape the internet to essentially see what are people talking about, what do they want, what are their issues. Then we're going to push it through Get Poppy. What's going to happen in Get Poppy is we're going to give it all the information, or maybe just the videos you want to copy. We're going to push it through our style, through the way we want to speak, and essentially translate it into our client's language, and it's going to pop out our content. So all we're doing here is essentially getting pre-validated content. We don't want to guess, we don't want to test, we have severely limited time. So we're using AI to pre-validate our content to make sure that we're not guessing, but we're actually creating the right things. And Picasso always said, bad artists copy, good artists steal. So all we're going to do essentially is we're going to go to Perplexity, take the information, we're going to go to Facebook Marketplace or just on Instagram, get the content that we like, plug it into GetPoppy, let it translate it into our style, into the language that our clients use, and boom, we get pre-validated content. Okay, so after that, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on boosting posts. Now, because we have severely limited time, we don't have time to wait for the almighty algorithm to pick up our post. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on Instagram, we're going to create 30% carousels, 30% face to camera. So that's more just to get your personality, 40% story sequence, and then we're going to boost it. Now, the beautiful thing about this is whether you have $100 a month, $10,000 a month, it doesn't really matter. Of course, this is a pay to play, so the more ad spend you have, the quicker results you're going to get. But this is very flexible based on the resources that you have. Now, this is going to help us get new leads, get new followers into our ecosystem. Now, after that, what we're going to do is we're going to use the value hammer. We essentially want to become omnipresent. So we're just going to create 9 posts, essentially 9 of our best posts. We're going to target people that are 60 days within our new ecosystem. And then this is just going to be focused on beliefs, process, credibility. We want to become omnipresent in their environment. They should see us everywhere. And to do this with pure organic is pretty damn difficult. So that's why we're going to use this technique to actually get it right. Now, next up is going to be the specialized DM agent. So we got the content, we actually got the client all warmed up. Your agent is going to start communicating with your leads, and it's going to determine either, let's say this person is perfect. They are warm, they are ready to buy. Or maybe they're just not there yet, then we're going to take them to a trust ladder where we essentially give them a quick win, which proves that we actually get results. We don't just make promises, we actually get results. So we've seen a hell of a lot of success with the trust ladder. Or alternatively, if your agencies, this person isn't really ready to work with you yet, or they don't trust you enough yet, then we're just going to send them back some content assets, essentially just helping them for free. So in the future, once they've warmed up a bit more, or they got more resources or a bit more time, then they can go back to our OG profile, go back to our DM agent, and then actually get into our system. So essentially, we don't lose any leads. Even the leads that aren't qualified, we push them back to an ecosystem, warm them up until they're ready, and then push them back in. So this is highly effective. Okay, now if you want to make crazy money, and this is just a little tidbit, what we want to do is we want to stack our offers. We want it done for you, done with you, and a DIY, essentially do-it-yourself course. Now, the reason for this is once we get someone into our ecosystem, we want to do a high-ticket offer. Now, you can use AI agents and Fiverr to actually do the work, but this is going to be your most profitable products. Now, of course, you want to build that relationship or keep it for longer term. So we want to add it done with you. So this is going to be more group coaching, weekly calls, essentially where you coach people through a process. And then at the end, it's going to be DIY. So this is going to be full on course. Now, we don't want to do this at the start. We want to do this at the end. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get a couple of clients with your done for you. So you're going to do a lot of work for your clients. It's going to jump over to your done with you. So you're going to get to know your clients. What do they struggle with? What are the mental blocks? Now you're going to take all of that and you're going to create courses around that. Now just imagine after a couple of iterations, then a new client comes in and they get into ecosystem and boom, there's all these courses speaking to the direct problems, the direct pain points, even before they know they had them. So that's immensely powerful. This is more like advanced at the end. I just wanted to make you aware of it. Now, after that, we have a multitude of other options. We can go into cold outreach, outsourcing, automation. There are dozens and dozens of other options. But remember, we want to keep this simple. So we're not going to go over to these more complex items unless it's absolutely necessary. So if we use our base model, once we've implemented that whole process, we're just going to identify levers and improve on them. What does it actually mean? At the start, and this is all based on average metrics, every niche is different, every person is different. So these are all averages, just take that with a pinch of salt. So that being said, we're going to chase $3 per follower. Now, assuming 20% of that's qualified, so that's going to be $15 per qualified lead. 5% is actually going to book a call. That's $300 per call. Now, these are very pessimistic numbers. I just want to give you a very pessimistic view so you actually know what is worst case scenario. Now, assuming that, and let's say you only close 60% of the people on that call, which is highly improbable because if someone went through this whole process, it's going to be much higher than 60. But let's say we suck horribly. We close 60%, so that's going to be $500 per client. Now, let's say your solution is $6,500. It cost you, based on all those metrics, $500 to actually get a client, $200 for indirect, for labor and software, all the other indirects. That is $5,800 per client profit. So multiply that by 5 and we have $29,000 per month. And this is just by doing the most simplest actions possible. So if you have any questions on any of the steps that we went through, please feel free, just send me a DM on Instagram and let's connect. Or if you want to see if it makes sense for us to work together, again, send me a DM and let's get you more clients.